Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It's your boy Marvin. We're going to get straight into a video which is about the Southport riots, which were caused by people from outside of the town, according to localist business owner Norman Wallace. Interesting.
The people of Southport coming together, and then suddenly we heard sirens, we saw the smoke in the air, and then there was a riot. And it was all people from outside of town that were brought in buses and cars. They got changed when they got here into the streets, and then they started to riot with the police, set the police van on fire, and all hell broke loose. I mean, the police did a marvellous job. I don't think there were enough of them, but they weren't to know that. But these were people from outside of town come in to cause trouble to people that have done no one any harm. And this is not what the people of Southport are like. Today, the people of Southport have come together and cleaned this whole street up. It's like a great spirit, a great family spirit, all working together to do what's right for Southport. The vigil was
some of the comments, excuse me mate, this isn't a crime that affects just Southport. Obviously there's been, over the last week or so, there's been possible terrorist attack on a guy who was in the army who got stabbed, and that was what, a few days ago. That is still being looked into, and that was a terrible crime. It's a UK problem, I think it is now. I do think Norman Wallace is a true gent. He and others, be it businesses or individual, have done an amazing job to pull the community together. To each and everyone out you, thank you, showing the best of support. Look, the best of Southport. Let's just obviously listen to some accounts from other people as well. You know, this is a very sensitive topic, so I just think we need to be really sort of open-minded about this, and also I think when we do comment, is sort of, you know, don't put aggression into it until we actually know the full story. What I gathered, we don't know what religion this guy is. At the end of the day, he was said to be Asian, the guy who awfully stabbed these kids and should be locked up for it. I don't know whether he's got mental health problems, but I think we've got to let the police and the legal system do their thing. I'm awfully sorry for the young children. That was completely out of order, and obviously the children that died, and also swift recovery for the children and the adults that are in hospital as well, in intensive care. So it must be awful for a lot of people in Southport. But for rioting, people coming from out of town, they've obviously had enough. Was there some words that he go to that mosque temple, and they got word of it, and people went there aggressively. It was said to be people from out of town. Someone was saying it was EDL, and people that got wind of it and come along to attack this temple. I think it's out of order because, like I said, there's two ways of looking at this, I think. Firstly, I think we've got to let the police sort her out, and then the legal system. But tensions are as high as they've ever been before, and I hoped that the government sort this out as soon as possible, because we're going to have all out wars on the streets otherwise. Let's listen to what this lady says.
There are currently riots breaking out in Southport, so we warned you, we told you about this bad element. So an element of people that believe that Islam and immigrants are to blame for Southport have now gone to a local mosque, were causing problems outside. The police turned up. This mob of mostly white men then started to attack the police, throwing bricks, bottles, anything that they could find. When that wasn't enough, they just set a police van on fire. I kid you not. This is going on just like Leeds. But over what? Why have you gone to the mosque? to attack random people at the mosque when you don't even have proof that this is anything to do with Islam. So now you're there fighting with your own British police on the streets after we just had so many conversations about how we need to respect the British police, and you're there throwing Molotov cocktails and bricks and goodness knows what. Like the live just got cut off right in the middle.
Just like to say what that woman was actually saying. She did come out with a few valid points. I do think that the radical side of things should be looked into, and police intelligence should know about this, so we don't get any more children or adults being killed. I think that's a matter of urgency. I think young people seem to be radicalised. I'm not saying all, but some are taking it to a stage where it's mentally affecting them and they're going out and doing harm to others. So the government and the police and intelligence really got to stamp down on this as soon as possible, because we can't afford to have more children killed or seeing riots on the street. It's just as simple as that. We need to know the truth. We was the guy from, if a white guy had gone and stabbed a Muslim girl, that would have happened to most people in Southport, not born in England, never mind Southport. That's on my street. Well done, Southport. This is the beginning of the uprising. We're not allowing this to happen anymore without retaliation. Is this really Southport? It's really sad. Firstly, it's now Southport, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. It really does. Burning your home down won't make difference. Different idiots, about time from Airy. There's a lot of support for these guys. I'm in the mindset that violence don't really prove anything at the end of the day. I think if anything, we need to get onto the government to do something majorly about it. A lot of people are saying that's not happening, so it's gonna cause riots on the street and people are gonna march anyway to sort this out for once and for all. This is what I see on the streets of England at the moment. It was so emotional. I didn't want to just start putting stuff up and talking about it because of the respect for the families. I wanted it to pick out certain points, but this was a witness to what happened.
Southport incident decided to speak out about the incident that took place in Southport. So he's a window cleaner that goes by the name Joe. He was on his lunch break on that Monday when his colleague noticed something unfolding outside the hot space in Southport. He said he entered the building where he looked in the eyes of the attacker. He said he feared for his own safety, but really wanted to save people. Now you can understand walking into a building where an incident like that has taken place, where you see people with blood on them, you see children that are injured, and you would fear for your own safety, but really want to help the people that are in that building. These are the 3 girls that have lost their lives. They were all under the age of 10 years old. You got Dot.
Wow, that's just so sad. So sad. And you know, these young girls have got their, still babies in a way, their whole life ahead of them, and it's been destroyed by a young lad because, you know, he went nuts. And you know, people say he was possibly radicalized. I don't know, I'll have to look into it myself. Did he have mental health problems? But there's no excuse for this.
Franklin, you got Alice Da Silva, and you got Bebe King. Under 10. This is crazy. The fact that these are young lives that are now lost, and there are people that are still injured in hospital right now. I really hope that other people that are injured do pull through. But this is just so heartbreaking. And I hope the attacker just spends the rest of their life behind bars. Tell me your thoughts. Follow for more.
That was quite a good report. my love goes out to the families who's lost or lost children. That's absolutely awful, and I hope that the young man who's done it basically gets what he deserves, which is the law thrown at him, where he could be doing a lot of bird for what he's done, but it's never ever going to bring those young people's lives back, which is so sad, and the ones that have injured, and that's going to be harrowing and affect them for a long time, even forever. The last part is just going to listen to what Peter Bleksley has to say about obviously the riots in Southport and the police being attacked.
Horrible set of circumstances, absolutely horrific. What's your response to what we've seen in Southport?
Yes, it was horrific, but it's so depressingly predictable and therefore avoidable. The communication from Merseyside Police, from the Chief Constable, who goes on television and says, "I'm a mother, I'm a nana, please understand, I feel your pain," just doesn't butter any parsnips. It really doesn't. The communication has been appalling. The reach out to the community has failed. And because the police are so distant from the public these days, this kind of event doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Anybody could have seen it coming.
See, but why does it come, Peter? Here is the point. This is sorrow beyond belief that we're dealing with here. The police as first responders were there doing their bit on Monday for all of this. And these people are heroes, and these people we rely on. So why am I looking at this? Why am I looking at these scenes? Why did the police become the villains in all of this?
And you've called it out this morning, Eamon, and I thank you for that. These young girls were murdered, and police officers heroically went to the scene and tried to save lives and arrested the man. But the bigger picture is that in this day and age, with identikit senior police officers who are very learned because they've been to university and they've got letters after their name, and they can write you a dissertation on reflective practice, but they do not know what the people feel, how it is to engage with people, what it's like on the streets, and therefore the connection and the communication is frankly non-existent.
Very true, very true. I mean, it needs a lot more from our Prime Minister than just, attending, not saying that much. It needs a lot more, and this needs to be sorted out very, very quickly before we do have wars on the street. This is getting out of hand. I mean, and also streets getting wrecked, right near people's houses. This van, what was their kids inside? What if the house was, set alight by the burning van? It's just uncalled for. That's just sick on the streets.
Do you think part of the issue with this, and you can see it, can't you? We had the vigil last night, hundreds of people rightly coming out to pay tribute to these three beautiful little girls, a loss of innocent life. And then we saw the violence last night, this riot in Southport. But actually both groups are doing the same thing, aren't they? They want answers to what happened here. Why were these little girls' lives taken? And perhaps if they had more information from the authorities, they had more information about the attacker, specifically from the police, there wouldn't be quite so much this strength of feeling on the matter.
Very, very true. Very, very true. And I mean, had they been sort of tracking this guy before? Was he known? Was there intelligence on him? The police could have done something, or detectives could have done something before it actually come to this, because it sounds like to me that this guy had a lot of problems. So it's going to be interesting to see whether he was on this system that he was being looked at. But that's no excuses. These things have to be stopped for once and for all. They really do.
Thank you very much. But of course, oh no, the law says we cannot release information because this person is not 18 years old. They're a child. Utter.
Wow. Well, he's nearly 18 at the end of these, over 16. Jesus. But he's not an adult till he's 18. I mean, surely his name, for the horrificness of the crime, his name will have to come out. And then we should know whether he's known to the police as soon as possible to stop this from happening again. Because obviously these riots are just going to keep happening because people want justice.
Peter, if I could just stop you there, and I say this about police, I say this about fire people, I say this about people in officialdom, politicians, whatever. Right, just come back to me here. Right, what I think they should do, if I was in charge of the PR, they would say, folks, listen, we cannot give you details and this sort of thing because the law says we're not allowed to. What we can tell you is this. Please understand our situation. We're as frustrated as you are in all of this. People are not idiots. When you treat people like idiots and you use that corporate speak all the time, that's why people get angry.
Eamon Holmes, you have nailed it completely. If you try to toe the line, do the corporate speak that fails manifestly, that doesn't reach out to the man and the woman in the street, it doesn't look like us, it doesn't sound like us, it's from a script, then of course people are going to get frustrated. People, as you quite rightly say, are not fools. But unfortunately now we have an entire breed of senior police officers, university educated, college of policing trained, who do not know how to speak to the man and the woman on the street.
And then, Peter, when they don't speak to the man and woman on the street, that leaves a void, and those voids are filled by all sorts of theories. People believe information is being kept from them or they're being lied to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's allowed to happen and happen again. Obviously, there was a soldier who was stabbed by someone crazy. The information on him wasn't as clear as what I thought it was going to be. Obviously, this 70-year-old boy arrested for knife crimes of killing people, injuring people, changing people's lives. The government have seriously got to do something about this now, and it should be an emergency meeting as soon as possible, because this cannot keep happening in this country, which was one of the most safest countries in the world.
Absolutely, they think they're having the world pulled over their eyes, and then the slightest tiny spark of rumour goes around the community like wildfire, and you literally, regrettably, have police vans being set on fire, police officers being injured, and they go from hero
to zero
a couple of days ago to victims 2 days later. And that is a tragedy. When will senior police officers learn to connect with communities, be like and speak like real people, and stop their frontline officers being cannon fodder?
You use the word communities there, Peter, and I just look at those pictures and I just wonder, there must be a certain amount of that crowd that are not part of the community, that are being shipped in, that are taking advantage or trying to use this for a bigger political cause. What's your view?
But that is nothing new. Police are forever banging on about community relations.
That's the thing of the past now, community, where you knew your local bobby And there was a little bit of respect there. Nobody knows who their local Bobby is anymore. You rarely see police officers walking down the street interacting with the people, or interacting especially with young people, asking what could be done more in the community. We're paying them, we pay council tax for a good service, and I don't think we're actually seeing it.
There are two communities in this country that need to be reached out to by the police and engaged with, but they haven't been for 20, 30 years.
There you go. That's the timeline I'm actually talking about. As a young kid growing up, 9, 10. It was different back then. There was a bit more respect amongst people, amongst different cultures, but you rarely see that now. It's become very, very hostile, and people are not happy anymore. And obviously the difference of religion is really sort of coming to the fore now, and different beliefs.
The first community is victims of crime, but of course the police turn their back on people who had their house burgled, their car stolen, their bike stolen, their phones stolen, victims of fraud and all of that. If you turn your back on people like that, who are the everyday, moderate mainstream of Britain, then it is no surprise that they turn their backs on you. The second community they need to engage with is people that carry out crime. But the police haven't done that for over 20 years. They've turned their backs on us, the moderate mainstream. And this is what you get.
Peter Bleksley, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for
Wow.
analysing that, and we just want to put, what you've had to say.
I hope this can sort itself out and the government can take actions. I think the people have given up on the government and they are dealing with it their own way. And I can see this keep happening until the government get really heavy on knife crime. And those why they're doing it, and it has to be solved because it is becoming a bit too much now. And this is why people are actually coming out and rioting. Even though I'm against violence and rioting, who's going to stop them now at the end of the day? Because obviously the government aren't putting enough of their foot down. And so this is going to keep happening until something's resolved. Thank you for all the new subscribers, and what a sad last 2 days. And my condolences go to the family who's lost young children, and I hope the children and the adults in hospital do come through and can live their lives evermore. Thank you, wherever you are in the world. Take care of yourselves.